Ah, and we're live. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey! How's it going, everybody?
Hey, hey, this is Belrose with my good friend, good buddy, Ralphie.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Is it Ralphipus or Ralphie?
Both. I think Ralphie is good for a nickname, so
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're close enough for you to have a nickname.
I guess I suppose it started out as Ralph, and then it turned into Ralphie, and then I was like, I'm a platypus, so now it's Ralphipus.
Sometimes I call Ralphie Platypus. Oh, yeah, I should probably do this with every interviewer, though. So, tell us your pronouns, please.
I am they them.
They, them. All right. And as for me, I don't really care. Like, I usually go he, him. So, Ralphie, tell us about yourself.
I'm a platypus VTuber. My deep lore is I am one of the first platypuses born in captivity. The only zoo outside of Australia that's allowed to have platypuses is the San Diego Zoo.
Oh, wait,
And
hang on. Is that true?
that's really true.
So, one more time. The only zoo outside of Australian zoos which are able to have any platypus is the Cincinnati Zoo?
The San Diego Zoo.
The San Diego Zoo. Why is that?
They don't. We tend not to do super great in captivity, and we need a lot of oversight and care in captivity, and so basically, some were essentially like gifted to the San Diego Zoo from Australia, and that's the only place you can see them outside of going straight to Australia.
Wow. Well, I mean, you appear to be thriving.
I am thriving. I'm living and thriving. Yeah, so I started to pick up on my zoologist's cell phones and computers, and got to be terminally online, learned how to talk. I was given video games for enrichment, and now I like streaming video games from my primary zoologist's home when I'm not at the zoo.
I can't believe they gave you video games. That seems highly irresponsible.
It will see what happened. They shouldn't have let me accidentally see their cell phones because, you know, internet degeneracy and terminally online and all that. So
Was it just like 8 hours of TikTok and then here we are?
No. I probably it must have started with social media because I spent too much time on derping around on Twitter and shopping for games that I don't have time to play or buy.
Uh-huh. You know, I heard, I don't know if this went anywhere, but I heard that they were supposed to be releasing like controls for TikTok to like keep like teenagers especially from just like spending all day on it. Like time limit caps.
It's not a bad idea.
I don't think it is. I don't think it
I
is a bad
actually do
idea.
that for myself as an adult.
Because it's like the internet now is so strange from what I remember it. And it's like if you want content, you can just be drip fed content, just content. And it's like you're done with one thing that's like, I don't know, 2 minutes long or a minute long, and you go to the next thing, and you go to the next thing.
Infinite scrolling was the biggest mistake we've made as a modern society.
Yeah. I remember when it used to take a minute to load a JPEG.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was reminiscing the other night with a friend that I accidentally got addicted to EverQuest. Having to download the EverQuest demo. It was 200 megabytes, and I had to leave the computer on and the internet connected overnight, and
yeah.
it took 2 days because I'm pretty sure we got a phone call.
That was dial-up, right?
That was dial-up.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the internet used to not be so convenient as it is right now. You used to have to dial up, and if you got a phone call, you just didn't get the phone call at that time. My parents used to yell at me for that.
Oh boy. Yeah, that and like, you know, somebody picks up the phone and that's the end of whatever you were doing because they didn't know that you were on.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And everybody remembers that sound that was old enough to have
Yeah,
dialogue.
it's amazing that that was such a unique sound. Like everywhere sounded the same.
It's funny because like it's like a weird constant in our memories. You know, there's like different phone sounds and siren sounds and sounds for crossing crosswalks and stuff, but like dialogue sounded the same everywhere.
Uh-huh. So the zoologist unfortunately let you watch TikTok all day. And
I actually don't. I hardly know anything about TikTok actually.
well, before that it was Vine, and Vine. I don't know what happened to Vine, but it seemed like
Corporate bullshit happened to Vine.
really.
No, really. They couldn't monetize it enough,
Uh-huh.
so they shut it down. It
Yeah.
got bought, and I can't remember the company that bought it, but they weren't making enough money off of it, and
They just
so
dismantled it, right?
They just yeah.
Yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory about that. That I'll save for later.
Uh-huh.
It has to do with the what the one of the biggest audiences on Vine and the predominant user group, and why it might have got shut down and then immediately replaced with something else.
Is it like, I think I remember hearing about this. Like, isn't it something like most of the people that used Vine were in like lower income communities, and that was like a communication tool for them?
Oh yeah, I'm 100% convinced that because like so much of the content was produced and consumed by Black folks, especially African American Black folks, that is partly why they just gave up on it rather than like monetize the shit out of it or do something else with it.
Uh-huh.
That's my tin hat conspiracy theory.
I don't know. I don't know much about, you know, people buying and selling things as big companies and whatnot. All I know is big companies ruin everything.
That's true.
Just like everything.
This is what happens when you talk. You're a plant, and I'm an animal, but I'm terminally online. I'm
Well,
one of those people.
You are, but I happen to be a capitalist. So I do follow current events. Right now, I know it seems like we say this all the time, but right now there seems to be a big upheaval in the social media setting with Twitter was bought, and it was changed and changed and changed again, and now rumblings are that it's going to be paywalled for everybody. And I'm sorry, I'm not paying for Twitter. I don't care what you call it. I don't care if it's $1. I'm not paying for Twitter.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think that would almost be a good thing, because then maybe we could all finally jump ship instead of bouncing between different websites and none of them really taking off. Like,
Hey,
I want so
Vicos.
badly.
Hey, Vicos
Hey!
and Bear Pigman too. Good to see you.
Didn't expect that part of the low tax speed run.
Yeah, low tax % speed run. But now there's all kind
funny.
of weird shit. Like, the rumor is that he's like abusing ketamine or something. He's just like acting erratic, and I wonder if that's just being rich, you know?
Oh yeah, no, that I just assume that's the norm or something for him.
Uh-huh. Like,
How's it going tonight, by the way, Vicos?
yeah, we are having a little interview show. We were in the garden still, but you know, around this time every year things start to get a little spooky. Pumpkins start to grow, everything takes on a slightly menacing tone. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but I've got my Halloween season colors. They came in. I like it.
They grew in spectacularly.
Yeah,
Most
they grew
the
in.
billionaire dumb enough to give the game away.
See, I don't
Like, that
know.
would nail the coffin.
Shout out to Cyberpunk. Oh yeah, there's so much
I read
weird
about
shit
that.
that he's done. Like, just completely erratic. It's almost entertaining. Like,
Gosh, remember when he brought a sink into to the
yeah,
the
let that sink in.
generation? Oh my gosh.
Like, he's the guy that just wants so desperately to be funny. Just desperately. But nah, like what you were saying, if he paywalls it, like, that's it. Like, you cut me free, you're free, Genie.
Oh, he had a cameo and it got removed. I did not realize that.
And then got booed at a Valorant tournament. What else is... How many banana peels has he fallen on? Bear Pig Man.
I'm going to hijack this for a shout out for Professor Vicos's
wait a minute.
Channel.
Oh, you can do that, huh? Wait a minute.
I don't know. I choose to.
What is it? Exclamation point SO?
That is how it is for me. But it's so great because, you know, the last one stung. Yeah, and I remember he mentioned, he was like, oh, there was only a couple people booing, like that somehow makes it better.
It's not SO. Maybe it's SO?
You have to have it set up, and I think I use...
Anyway, I'm telling you directly, go look at Vicos's stuff. If you don't listen to me, I will eat you.
Oh my gosh, the carnivorous plant comes at you.
Yeah. Very slowly. Oh yeah, and Thompson. We're all streamers here. That's the kind of weird thing about the VTube community and stuff. It's like everyone has their own little TV show and is making their own little TV show, and you want to support all your friends, but like everyone's airing their TV show and you can't watch every TV show, and also you're working on your own TV show. It's like, where do you find time?
Oh yeah.
Just like how everyone's having like a birthday today.
Including you. Now,
yeah, including me. It's my birthday right now.
Apparently it's not. It is like a full-time job. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's honestly the worst part about streaming. Dude, yeah. And I've seen people talk about how, like, the world of VTubing, like, I don't know if it was meant to be, like, a mean-spirited joke, but it just kind of turned out to be, like, a funny truism. And that's that, like, the VTuber community is just a bunch of people hanging out with each other and, like, trying to get each other to collaborate and try to get each other's friends to come hang out and in order to spread out. And it's true, but also it's really fun that way too, for me personally.
That's why I don't think I would. I don't think I would ever do this professionally. One, because I don't think anybody would watch it, but two, to do it professionally, you have to put like a significant drain on yourself, and also you have to be like grinding the different social medias. You have to, like, it is so difficult to get, you know, I hate to use like sanitized corporate speak, but it's hard to get like engagement and interaction going.
You have to, it's the hustle, and it's like, it is the definition of the hustle. Because
it's like, one of the trends that I've seen is like, you know, VTubers do smash or pass, or they say drop your PNG and I'll like rate you, or just the kind of like, you know, I'm used to running an RP circle, so that's kind of like the starter stuff that they pass around. But it's like your content in that case is just like tied into people cooperating with you, and sometimes they just don't.
That is the advantage of a group like the Snark Exchange, because like everybody, instead of one person wearing like 20 different hats and having to do everything, you guys kind of have it spread out.
Yeah. Like
I can't whole ass any one thing, so I just like quarter ass all of the
well, with me, like, I've been doing pretty, like, I've significantly improved over the last few months, like mentally, physically. But when I started this, I was like, you know, I couldn't do anything regularly. It was just like, you know, am I Am I feeling bad today or am I feeling good? And it's really hard to keep people with you if you don't stream regularly and you don't put out schedules.
It's weird how stuff that seems like it should be easy, like making a schedule, or like taking days to do something, for some reason turns into an uphill battle for me.
Well, as I'm getting older and as certain things are happening, I think I might also have a little bit of that attention deficit as far as like getting certain tasks done.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like I have to be in the mood to do things. And then once I get into the mood, it's like I can't stop.
That's how it is for me, but the problem is getting to the point where I'm in the mood. Like, when I got back from being gone for 10 days.
Yeah, you were. I missed you. I missed you.
I missed you too. I was so hoping that I could stream while I was gone, but there was some family stuff, and I just didn't want to take time away from spending time with them to dirt around and talk to my laptop while some of the
No, I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, it's like it was nice, but at the same time, like I missed it. I wasn't expecting to miss it as much as I did. Like,
yeah,
I wanted to get back and see people and talk to people and talk to myself while I play video games and my 3 people in chat, which I love.
No, that's like the greatest feeling though, when the followers on Twitch don't really mean anything. Like the number, it just doesn't. Like, I've got over 200, and I'm lucky if like 3 or 4 people come and chat and hang out. Like that's.
If I get 4, that's a huge.
Yeah, that's like a huge night. Obviously, anybody that comes by, I'm really, really happy for anybody. But it's obviously a lot more fun if people are like, because that's the whole idea behind it, the whole VTuber thing. You've got a little character on the TV that you can talk to the cartoon, and it responds to you.
It is like that, and it's like, I guess it's kind of like, I used to love chat rooms, and they've gotten really overwhelming for me. But I've also always liked entertaining people, and so this is like the best of all of that. Like,
yeah,
I get to try to entertain people. I get to theoretically finish video games, play video games with people that like video games and have some of the same interests, and like, it's like it's always gonna be, no matter how much of a, how it can be kind of a downer when, like, you stream for like 5 days straight, or like you stream for weeks straight and you stick to your schedule, and like hardly, nobody has the time or ability to show up.
And that's the thing, it's like you can't be everywhere at once.
Exactly. It's always gonna be nice to like, at least I'm able to do this, and I'm giving it a shot, and also I'm playing video games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at my view counts when I stream. I just don't even look, because if you look at it and see 0, you're gonna not want to perform.
Yes, I try to avoid them at all costs. I have them turned off, except when I like go to raid, or like if I check.
Oh yeah, I should probably check and see if I have 0 followers before I raid somebody. Yeah.
We have. I always feel bad about that. Like when it's like, I thought, like, I'll say like I'm gonna raid, and then I'm excited because it looks like I have like 6 people, and then I raid and it's like 0 or 1. But you know what? It's better than nothing.
Also, Tom, it's funny you're here. I am really happy that you put me in contact with Ralphie, because Ralphie was kind of the first person that I started gravitating towards when I started. Because, like, I used to stream, and I got out of it for, like, a long, long time. Same. And then I picked up Live 2D, and I just made something to see if I could do it, and I did it. And then it's like, well, do I? Hang on. there's a lot to think about here. I'm an older set guy, and for a while I worried that like, should I even be in this space? You know, should I even be doing this? But then, you know, Ralphie came along, and then Ralphie's teacher, Emmy, Emeril, what's his name? Emerus.
Emerus.
Yeah, and they're older too.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just I was worried about like collaborating or reaching out to anybody, because it's like, okay, are they all like teenagers? Am I gonna be like the odd one in the room? But no. And that was just a really like satisfying thing to find out.
I like that we've kind of, there's like this well, words are hard.
Yeah,
Like,
they are, yeah.
we have this like web of connections to each other. Like, I don't even know how I found Vicos, like how Vicos showed up on my feed.
Honestly, I think I just saw a zombie on Twitter and followed them.
And then like at least like Tom Bear Pigman I've known for years, and so I met you through the New York Stock Exchange. And then like it's like Tom said, like I love when my friends become friends. Like it's really no matter how much of a hustle this is, and how people complain about people being fake, and
yeah,
like,
that's the kind of impression that I've got. And you know me, I don't gossip and I don't shit talk people, but like doing your promotion on Twitter, you see a lot of things that just seem kind of fake, you know?
Absolutely. Like we were talking about before about how people, you met Chef in college. Yeah, and it's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Oh, you met Christine Reed.
How did I meet Tom? It wasn't the Boston Marathon donation thing, was it? Or was
I
it?
have a really funny way of meeting Tom. I met Ray at a friend's party,
Right.
and then I met Tom while I was hanging out with Ray.
Right, we actually met at PAX East. No, I think I maybe remember meeting you at PAX East because I had my laptop with me and I had like the game that I was working on it, the Rooster Teeth charity like game, like the game jam thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was like back when Monty Ohm, rest in peace, he passed, and he said instead of sending gifts to like the company or his family or whatever, he just said to like do something creative instead.
Aww.
Yeah. That was the first time I really got into game development.
Is that how you ended up making the your tabletop simulator games?
I wouldn't say they're directly related, but it gave me an interest in game design and game, you know, spriting and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've still got all the old files and everything. It was... So, yeah, we started streaming because of that, I think. But it was called RGB, and it was a game where you were a witch, and it's like a left to right flying shooter. And the idea was that enemies can shoot different colored bullets at you, and you have to change between red, green, and blue to match up the colored bullets to absorb the power, and then like you get powered up.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Like, we made one, or I should say, I was with a group of people, and everyone kind of dropped out pretty quick. So it was really just like me after that point.
It's so hard to keep something like that together. Like, Vicos and I have been talking about playing D&D for like 6 months, and that's like one of the hardest things in life, is to be able to get like multiple adults to have their schedules all match up at the same time.
Yeah, like scheduling is just, yeah, it's really difficult. But no, I'm really glad that, you know, we all met. It's like you look back and you think, well, how could things have gone differently? You know, the past is a mystery just as much as the future is.
I'm glad that it didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there was another meetup in Boston. Cool. Let me flip the tables on you.
Yes.
What made you decide to be a plant?
Well, I don't know. I've always been one.
Oh yeah, I guess it's kind of a weird. I didn't phrase that.
Yeah, it's okay. How was I reincarnated as one?
I don't know. Why am I a plant?
Yeah. Why are you platypus?
There is a story for that. Although we went from like being in character, now
we kind of jump back and forth, and I was talking to Tom about this, and it was like, I kind of want to be able to do that, but I don't want to tie myself into only being that. You know?
Why am I dead? Why are you dead, Vikos? What's that? What's the deal with being dead?
Why are you dead?
I do love Vikos has a really great Warcraft undead caster VTuber model that I love. I played undead.
Anyway, I am going to keep us from getting derailed. So I chose a plant because I was into Disgaea at the time, and this model is based off of a Disgaea character.
Okay.
And I was actually writing for that Disgaea character at the time, and I was like really into it. Like, I really enjoyed that it was like androgynous. I like the idea of a monster that has a human shape, and can like change shape and like grow different ways. I really enjoyed that.
It's a great concept.
And it's like, I don't have to like put on a voice or any kind of like mannerisms when I do this, because it's just like it's just appearances, you know. And I posted on Twitter, sorry, X. I posted there. It's like, look, my spaces are trans inclusive, but I do not like. I mean, it might look like I'm presenting as trans, but I'm really not. Like, I just think it's neat. I just like the character.
I think that's, you don't have to be, I don't think you need to be, you need to necessarily be gender non-conforming.
Yeah, that's like something that I was a little worried about. I didn't want people to think like I was trying to do something like that, or like trying to fool people or whatever.
It's not like, it's not like, you're... I want to compare it to, I don't really have anything I can compare it to, but I think that it's like, it's not something that you can really, words are hard, once again.
I think a good comparison is like if you went up to the angry video game nerd and you were like, wait a minute, you don't actually shit on video games? Like, you don't actually puke on Bugs Bunny? What the hell? It's just a character.
Yeah, but also, like, I also enjoy the representation. You don't feel like you're co-opting.
Yeah.
It's not, like, an appropriation.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's something that you don't see that often. Like, we're seeing gender non-conforming characters more and more often, but, like, I think...
Like, especially in, like, mainstream media I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, there was the whole, We Baby Bears, that Toby Fox voiced a character in, and it was all about like pronouns, or it had pronoun stuff in it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then a bunch of people online got mad. Like, how can you be mad at Toby Fox? How is it possible? It's just not possible.
Oh man, I saw somebody made a meme that was like pronouns in bio, and it was literally just a text of they, them, he, him, she, her, like in a science class. It was like pronouns in bio. What will they learn? And it was like the best dad joke ever to me.
No, there was this video going around from Schoolhouse Rock that I like. It like dredged up a hidden memory. It was like about pronouns, and it's about, is this guy finds a kangaroo, and like the singer is like, this is Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla, and Rufus found a kangaroo that followed Rufus home, so now that kangaroo belongs to Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla. And instead of all that, I could say, he found a kangaroo that followed him home, and now it belongs to him.
Oh, that's... Oh, man, I feel like I vaguely remember that.
It's such a good song.
Gender is astrology for Gemini. That's so funny. And also accurate. I feel like that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, and then it's like, even, like, sometimes my mom tunes in. Because I like, told my mom about all this stuff, which it's always a weird conversation to have. It's like, yeah, in my free time, I'm a cartoon plant on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to look into that. I just want you to know that it's a thing that I do. But she became interested in, like, gender issues and all that kind of stuff because, she's a sweet old lady and she's curious. She doesn't have a hateful bone in her body. So sometimes she pops in and talks.
And it's fun.
Yeah. Now that I've explained myself, why are you platypus? How did that happen?
Man, I almost wanted to steal Vicos's jokes, skill issue. No, I love anime girls.
I mean, who doesn't? Which one of us is without skin?
And, I love the idea of cute VTubers, like, of any gender, but, like, I love an anime girl. I wish... Oh, wait, Vicos is like me, I don't like anime girls.
Well, what about Zombieland Saga, Vicos? What about that? The cute...
Oh, man, Zombieland Saga has a canonical trans girl character.
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's true.
Very supportive.
Yeah. Cool. Oh.
I mean, I'm without skin.
I see.
So
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you're without skin, so those who live in a glass body shouldn't throw skin.
A glass body? Oh my gosh. But, like, I'm not a girl. I can't do... Hey, Snark Exchange!
Hey!
We were talking about Snark Exchange earlier, and she pointed a gun at Parliament.
Yes, she did, and said, shut the fuck up.
I just... It's not something I can pull off, and... it seemed like every niche had already been filled when it comes to... Yeah, Lily!
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad that meme just got, like, bigger and wider.
So that, gacha game that's out right now where it's, like, the girls with the big booties shooting the guns?
Yes, I do.
There was, I believe, a crossover between that game and Zombieland Saga where you could get
There
Lily.
was indeed.
Yeah,
Yes.
so she could literally shoot a gun at Parliament.
It was great. But yeah, I've always loved platypuses. I think my main source of inspiration was when I found, let's see. Oh gosh, now I can't remember all the names of the VTubers involved. I found this really amazing, like, alien queen lady VTuber, and she guested on this, like, bartender VTubers thing, and they also had a friend who was just a literal bird. That was it. It was a bird VTuber, and I was like, wait, man, you don't have to be a cute anime character.
You don't.
I could just be I don't have to be like a furry. I can just be a literal animal.
There is a buddy that streams and is actually getting pretty, their streams are pretty good. They're a rock.
I saw that! I've seen them online!
Geop is a rock. And they're a good rock. They're a nice solid rock. A good rock to build my foundation on.
I am a rock, I am an island.
Yeah. Just The Rock Johnson. That's not his name, though.
That would be pretty funny, though.
Yeah. But no, their streams are really entertaining. Like they found their niche. Like they do the Zillow streams, and that is just something that I haven't seen anyone else do.
Zillow streams?
Oh, do you know what those are?
No.
I'm
very invested, though.
What they do is they go through listings on Zillow of houses, and on Zillow they have pictures of the outside and the inside, and they just go through like these weird ass houses. Like they're so strange. Like one of them had like a bathroom that had like the toilet was like elevated, and there was a bathtub that you had to step over like some sort of. It was so weird.
I live for that. I'm jealous that I didn't come up with that, because I used to have a job that involved a lot of time spent on Zillow, and
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated with weird interior design and stuff, and that's the kind of content I love on stream. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and G-Up is just so laid back and just friendly and funny. Like, I could tell. What am I trying to say? My style is that, you know, I don't get overly excited and like some of the other like high energy streamers do. I'm very relaxed and laid back and kind of a little bit snarky, and that's about it, you know. And Giap has found his niche, just doing things that he's known for. Yeah,
See,
it's. Mm-hmm.
That's a great question, Pig Man, and that is not something I found an answer to for me.
Yeah, because
that
like
was another thing that kept me off streaming for a long time. Was like, everybody streams video games. I don't have anything different to bring to the table. I don't have anything unique.
I mean, it used to be, you know, VTubing was kind of a new thing, but now if you look on Twitch or any other streaming platform, there's a ton of VTubers. Like, there are a dime a dozen. You have to stand out with something.
Yeah. And yep, all I've really got is that I'm a platypus.
Well, that's still unique. You know, that's why today in particular there were a lot of people having trouble with artists not doing commissions properly, or ghosting people, or, you know, especially today it's easy to like just fudge AI and hope that nobody notices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm of the opinion, and I agree with Tom, I am glad that I made this, because it's one of a kind, because I made it. You know, if there's, like, let's say that there's a person out there who's really good at making VTuber models, and, like, a bunch of people just buy their models from them, they all start looking the same. You know? It's the imperfections, I think, that make people stand out sometimes.
Yeah. Like, everybody, you know, we can't all be the identical cookie-cutter anime girls.
Yeah. Like, I cannot get into Genshin Impact because they all look the same to me. They're all these over-designed, you know, lowest common denominator, traditionally attractive characters. You know?
It's funny you should say that, because, like, I love the character design. I'm fascinated by the character design for that franchise, but, like, I just want nothing to do with it. For,
yeah.
Like, moral, like, highfalutin, snobby moral reasons, basically.
Well, there's stuff that I'm not touching right now because of moral reasons. You know, I'm not touching Project Moon stuff right now for moral reasons.
Yeah.
I'm
Muppet VTuber, I think I've seen
that. Brett invited me to float down a river in an tube when I get to... Oh, yeah, turned up San Diego Zoo. Is that true? Ralphie, did that happen?
It's very close to the truth, actually.
Uh-huh.
I said float down a river, it turned out to be a lazy river. Just the lazy river at the San Diego Zoo. Tiny stream in the zoo and monkey zoo enclosure. That is very close to the truth, though.
No, I've never been in one of those lazy river things. Like, I don't do with theme parks or amusement parks.
Would you go on like an actual river outside?
I would probably do that over like a water park amusement ride.
Because that's fun. That's chill and that's relaxing, and you see nature and.
Yeah, like I like being out on a boat. If it's like in some sort of nature area, because you've got nice stuff to look at and it's quiet,
Yeah.
and you can like look at stuff in the water. But if you're in a park, you're near a whole bunch of people, and it smells weird. There's trash. There's nothing to look at. You're usually just staying in line somewhere. Yeah.
I love both, actually. I love seeing and new things and going to new places. The best part of the holiday, believe in the amusing fact, is watching a platypus slash around going, "Wee, are you having fun yet?" That sounds like something I actually said to you. Because I was like, is this cool? Are you having fun? Is this a good time? I like anytime anyone does something I know I can't do. But I love going on rides. I love experiences. I love freaking out on roller coasters and stuff. This is more breaking kayfabe. I did go to a theme park not that long ago that was actually really pretty because it had a lot of trees and a lot of different trees, and it was very shaded, and it was a lot more comfortable than like what I imagined being outside at like Walt Disney World must be like.
Tom, you have done VTubing, don't you remember? You were a potato that one time. That one time I got reincarnated into a potato, and my sister can't have hair this long. Funny story. I don't know if I told you or not.
That was Potato Tom.
That was Potato Tom.
That's
I was doing a charity thing with Tom and Christy over at Snark Exchange, and I needed to have a representation of them on the screen, so I made Christy a carrot because they both start with C, and Christy seems like a carrot, and I made Tom a potato, and Tom is Irish. And I didn't realize it until after it had happened, and I was like, "Oh, should I not have you be a potato?"
That's funny though. We didn't even think of it.
Yeah. Like I didn't want to make Tom that starchy without permission. Yeah, up until like 3 minutes before we went live, it was just a thought. You know, I think a platypus suits you, though. I think it does.
Thank you.
Because...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, a platypus is an animal that, like, within the animal kingdom, it's, like, also very non-conforming. Like, it's a bird, but also... Well, it's not really a bird, is it? It's a mammal. Yeah, it's a mammal that lays eggs, right?
Yep.
And it has, like, mucus, which... other mammals don't. It's just kind of an odd animal. It's like a mix of like an animal and a duck and like a beaver.
It's a weird, and that's what's always drawn me to them. Like, people always make jokes about like God made them out of odds and ends, and they're like a weird little freak of a critter. And...
We're living in the timeline where Porky didn't go all the way with his plan.
It's always it's the little weirdo of the animal kingdom. I love the story that, like, you know, so all of the mythical critters that people have believed in over the years, and the fact that they brought a platypus to Europe, and people there were like, "This is fake. What the hell are you?"
Yeah, you just put this together.
Like, what do you think this is? How stupid do you think?
You think I just fell off the turnip wagon?
Like, no, really, we really are this weird. And so I've always loved platypuses. I've collected platypus plushes for ages.
You're actually a toy. You're marketable.
I very well could be, yeah.
Well, no, you have a toy of you.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
My friend. This is clearly like no, go big for forgiveness for the magical sky man. Yeah. Hang on, now I forgot my friend's name. Her exact name that made. I had a Pitch Wings. My friend Pitch Wings.
Actually, just if you send me that picture of that on Discord, I'll put it up.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's an impressive, like, little beanie, not a beanie baby, but like a beanbag crochet kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it's not small either. It's like well over 12 inches tall. Like.
So so it's big. Because like I didn't realize what the scale was.
Yeah. Here's here, I can send you. I mean, it's just I can. Words once again. Words. This is just a tweet.
It's okay.
Like,
words are hard. I had problems with words.
You can see like I'm sitting in a gamer chair.
Let's see
with,
if
a desk calendar for scale.
let's see if paste works. I'm not used to doing this, but let's see if it works. No, that's not gonna work. Oh.
Put the actual just direct image. I should get a picture of like the full thing.
I think I actually have to save it.
Let me get a better picture of like the whole thing.
No, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, and she did like the amount of money she charged on me was very, very reasonable for the amount of work that went into this. Like, it's all completely custom made.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's Ralphie in their gamer chair.
That's right.
So I didn't realize the scale of this. I thought this was a car seat.
Oh yeah, no, that's my actual normal chair that I sit in. Yeah.
But no, it's very cute.
I can see how it would be hard to tell though, because it's like it's a really, really thick, large yarn that was used. So I can see how you can think it's smaller. But yeah, it's funny. I get a lot of Perry the Platypus jokes, and it's completely unrelated. Like, I was very much too old for Perry. Like, I was really happy that a platypus got really popular, because it made people realize, oh man, these funny animals.
These little weirdos are funny.
Real. Yeah.
You know,
it's not mostly from Christy. It's everybody.
You know, let me put my words together.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I don't take it as like, oh no, I'm not Perry. It's just like, it coincidentally, it has nothing.
No, I don't kin Perry. I'm just a fan of him.
I appreciate his work.
But like, kids are growing up with some really interesting shows right now, and they have been for a few years. Like, I'm an animation fan. I will watch cartoons. I don't care what anyone says. I love cartoons.
Hell yeah.
We love cartoons. We love all the action. But Perry the Platypus, Phineas and Ferb, I never really looked at that because it seemed, I don't know, I just got the impression that it was like a very kiddie kind of show. But it's actually a really good show. Like, it's funny. Yeah. Doofenshmirtz, he's such a funny character.
And apparently, like, the music episodes are really, really clever.
So, I don't know if they do this every episode, but I've seen some episodes that have, like, songs. Or, there was one that had, like, a bunch of songs where the kids were trying to get a band back together that played back when their parents were young. And, like, they're all older and they don't want to, like, get back together. And there's this one song, the drummer, he broke up from the band and he started working in a library. And he tries to get, the kids try to get him to join the band. And he's behind the desk and he's like shuffling the books around and like stamping the cards. And it's like, it's making a percussion noise. He's still got it,
Yeah.
And he like starts singing a song about how he doesn't have rhythm anymore. And it's just, Oh, it's such a good song.
It's
Like,
charming.
I really enjoy things that have good music.
Yeah.
Like, out of all that kind of stuff, if they have good music, I really love it.
Phineas and Ferb really goes hard for that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Let's bring back the musical. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I love musicals. I love stage plays. Like, yeah, Animaniacs came back and they had
Oh
like the
yeah.
songs and stuff.
Gosh, the state song, like that's
Yeah.
you hear that
And
thing.
then like Gravity Falls, which is also a really good show um, for kids, and I'm surprised that that aired on Disney because Gravity Falls goes into like it's like supernatural stuff and conspiracies and like deep lore, and there's stakes and danger. Like,
Good.
it's really good.
I don't know. I've heard a lot about it, and I've never gotten the chance to sit down and watch it. But I'm looking forward to doing so at some point because it's just been so popular and well loved.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's over now. They ended it.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock. Hello, Dee Dee. Rich Girl. That is the very special someone I was telling you about.
Rita on Animaniacs was a fucking trained opera singer. I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rita, I don't think the Rita segments were very popular on Animaniacs when it was around. Like, I don't remember anybody was like, "Oh yeah, Rita's the best." You know,
True.
but she had, good songs.
Still.
Yeah. Like, anybody who can sing like that, I admire them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that as much as kids are getting kind of the poor end of the stick with a lot of things that are happening right now, like the pandemic and global warming and ruined economy and I don't know, they're getting blamed for it even though they just came here. I think that they have a lot of, I would have been happy growing up with stuff like that. Like, I grew
a
up.
lot of.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of the cartoons that we grew up with were really inane and they like. I feel like it would be disservice to say they only existed to sell toys, but by and large, the spider dogs are going to be unleashed in 5 years. But by and large, I feel like they just felt really shallow, and I feel like that's especially the case for girls' cartoons in the 80s, stuff that was aimed towards girls.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to remember stuff that was aimed towards girls. Like, there was probably My Little Pony, right?
My Little Pony, She-Ra, there was Gem, but I never had access to Gem. I didn't even know Gem existed until like I was well into adulthood because it never aired. It was never syndicated where I grew up. Strawberry Shortcake. And oh gosh.
Yeah.
Like the early the 80s and 90s were really limited, and they were
Care
so...
Bears? Was Care Bears? I don't know if Care
Bears
Bears was a girls' cartoon. That was like a kids' cartoon.
Yeah, I feel like Care Bears and I feel like Gummy Bears kind of
were more like kids, but not
like
specifically girls.
Gender neutral, yeah.
Yeah.
Polly Pocket, I think Polly Pocket did get a cartoon, but I thought it was like way later.
I don't know if Polly Pocket got a tune, but I know that Polly Pocket was aimed towards girls, and they made a boy version called Mighty Max, and that did get a cartoon.
Wait. Mighty Max was the boys' version of Polly Pocket?
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
Mighty Max had the same kind of toys that Polly Pocket did, but it was like boy stuff. Like, there were tiny... Like, so the whole idea behind Polly Pocket was that it was like a little playhouse that fitted your pocket.
Like a little tiny clamshell.
Yeah, a little tiny clamshell.
Dollhouse, yeah.
So, like, you'd open a Polly Pocket and it'd be like she was in her bedroom or like at the beach or something, and then you'd open a Mighty Max toy and he would be fighting, or it'd be like a jungle or a swamp or something like that.
I loved Mighty Max, and I had no idea that was the case because I never saw a single Mighty Max anything.
Yeah, let me look this up.
I'm thinking of Mighty Mouse, actually.
Not Mighty Mouse, yeah.
Mighty Max. Hang on a second. Now I have to Google this.
Yeah, me too. Oh, sorry, I have to use my magic tablet from the monster
I do
world.
remember Mighty Max. Okay.
I remember the commercial. It was like Mighty Max, Mighty Max.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Yeah. See. Oh, this is beautiful. This is oh my god. Oh, I have got to show some of these. Okay. Okay.
Lycos, that is true. I have seen, like the stuff that came out in like the late '90s, early 2000s, had a huge impact on girls that came of age then, and like the Princess and the Pauper was apparently really good, and I've seen a lot of people that were just profoundly inspired and have gone on to make incredible costumes, both because of it and like based off of it and inspired by it. Yeah, first gen Zoomers who told me exactly. Those were apparently well put together, but it felt like there was such a divide in gender in cartoons and how they were gendered in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, and that's really, it's starting to blur right now because,
yeah,
you know,
so
as
good.
somebody who watches cartoons, I see the commercials that are aimed at kids.
Yeah.
And they've got, you know, they still do Barbie, and they've got Barbie, you know, commercials, and they have a boy in the commercials along with a girl.
That's wild to me. That
Yeah.
you never saw girls in G.I. Joe commercials. You
Yeah.
never saw
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Imagine if you did see that back then, where
Yeah.
it was the G.I. Joes fighting with the guns, and it was like the boys playing with the girls. Like, that would have been nuts. Nobody would have stood for that back then.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Honestly, we still get people that... There's probably somebody out there that's upset about, you know, something.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay, so... let's see. Pocket. Pocket 1, Pocket 2.
Girl
Come on.
boss, female drone pilots. Damn. That's Paw Patrol.
Okay. Here's Polly Pocket. Right?
Yeah.
So you got your Polly Pocket, and the whole gimmick was that it was a little tiny playset. And you can see they're at the beach. There's Polly Pocket and her mermaid friend. They've got a boat. They've got a picnic table. They've got a little sand castle. And it's got like a little strap on it, so you could carry it with you and, like, I guess whip it out at recess or whatever, right? Okay. So we're just gonna put that over there in the corner for now. Here is Mighty Max.
So edgy.
Yeah, so you can see these playsets, like, one is like a skull, it looks like, and it's like a torch, or like a laboratory, right? One is like a crocodile with like a swamp, it's, you know, monsters, there's a big old spider there, and there's Mighty Max riding on the spider. So, and you know, back then, I think this was kind of a smart idea. Because, like, Polly Pocket might have appealed to some boys, but, like, nobody would let their boy play with a Polly Pocket.
Absolutely.
It's, like,
No
too
way.
gender-coded. So,
Absolutely.
you've got Mighty Max, which is, you know, the boy version. And Mighty Max got a cartoon. It was a bad cartoon, but he got it.
And some of those old 80s cartoons that went nowhere for toys that went nowhere had such banging music though.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the great SG, who I've had such good conversations with about, like, Jason and the Wheel Warriors and
So okay, so
Bill
without
Rock,
thinking too hard, what was the dumbest cartoon, like the dumbest idea cartoon that you can remember going back? Like, for me, off the top of my head, Biker Mice from Mars was
yeah, that's pretty bad.
and it was like really clearly just like a a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoff, because like people don't understand today how huge the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were. Like they were like the equivalent of Pokemon is now back then.
It was a cultural zeitgeist.
It was. I mean, that, Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, all around that time were just supremely popular.
I loved the Ghostbusters cartoon. Isn't it? I feel like we don't have that weird phenomenon of let's make kid versions of this very mature, adult-oriented thing, like the Ghostbusters cartoon and the Beetlejuice cartoon. Like, I watched those religiously, and I went decades without seeing the Ghostbusters movie, and when I finally watched it again for the first time as an adult, I was like, how did they ever market this to kids?
Well, I mean, around that time
Here's
period...
a ghost sex scene? Like, what?
Around that time period, it was like gross-out humor was starting to come into fashion.
That's true.
So it's like, Beetlejuice, obviously they kind of skip over the fact that he tried to marry Lydia in the movie.
Yes.
So like in the cartoon, he's just friends with Lydia. And he like lives in the neither world, and it's very pun-based, and there's a lot of gross-out humor. And it was fun. It was just a good time. And everyone remembers that intro, right? The hallway intro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just
thinking about sandworms.
Yeah. Sandworms, I hate them. What was I thinking? But yeah, all that stuff back then, it became hugely popular. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles itself is still really popular today.
It's kind of it's had its waves, but I'm glad that it keeps coming back, because it was so much fun as a kid, and I'm glad that we never forgot that like we did.
Yeah, like
so many other cartoons.
And they have been, like, the old versions have been brought back in like tribute in certain newer episodes. Like
cool.
So there was like one special where it was one of the CGI animated ones, and the turtles got to meet their older selves from the 80s. And at first they make the 80s ones, they did this a couple times. The first time that they did it, people were kind of upset because they made all the old versions just like a big joke,
Aww.
But then they did it again, and they kind of showed that they were from that time period. Like, there's this joke that they make where they're fighting bad guys, and like the modern day turtles are like using their ninja moves and their weapons and stuff. But of course, the 80s turtles, they couldn't do that because that's too violent. So they like fight enemies like indirectly, like they would back then. Like they chop a piece off a fire hydrant, and like the bad guy gets like knocked down with water. Or like they cut a chandelier or something, and I just thought that was a nice touch.
You would ask, what do I think was like the dumbest?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This conversation keeps going left, right, up, down.
Okay.
BA start.
You know what? It's funny because it goes back for a long time before the 80s, but like I feel like G.I. Joe is the worst kind of like empty it's like but there's a term for like ultra uber patriotic that I can't think of.
I know that word.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Propaganda, or
like propaganda,
jingoistic,
it's like the most like jingoistic, imperialistic like propaganda, but for the military, for kids. And it felt so ubiquitous to me in the 80s, and there was no appeal to it to me then, and I'm glad it's gone, but now we have Paw Patrol instead, which is like
the class traitors at Paw Patrol.
Like, I feel like it's not as bad, but I've seen a lot of funny jokes about like ACAB includes Paw Patrol.
I mean, it is a funny thought experiment. It is like, A
Yeah.
cab, but who would be the exception? You know,
Yeah.
are there exceptions? You know, obviously, the dog from Paw Patrol.
Right. But
Oh, we got
I feel like it's
first time
nearly
chat.
as
Hello,
bad.
Ecologic Mist.
Oh,
It's
it's
good to
Mist.
see you.
Hi,
Hi,
Ecologic
Mist.
I Mist is a friend of mine through probably Nia and Elion, I think.
Uh
If I
huh.
recall correctly. Vikos, you still got me going on that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles single-handedly popularized pizza globally, because like I can't tell if you're joking or not, because I feel like this is like one of those trivia questions.
Well, I definitely think that the fact that the turtles ate pizza made kids want to eat pizza.
Yeah.
Kind of like how
Good boy, bad cop.
Sonic wanting chili dogs probably turned some kids on to chili dogs.
Gosh, forgot about that. What is your like worst, most vapid kids cartoon?
Most vapid.
From,
Let's see.
ideally from the 80s, but not necessarily.
Kids cartoon.
There was one about a magical cowboy in the 80s that was pretty bad, but I still gotta go with G.I. Joe. Thanks,
I'm
Miss.
trying to think, because Eek the Cat was something that I watched and that was good.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Eek the Cat.
Yeah, Eek the Cat was like a cat that was always trying to like help people, and he would always get like thrashed, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was paired with the Terrible Thunder Lizards, which was like a side cartoon about dinosaurs, but they were like a military team. And
I don't remember that.
yeah, it was like, it's not that good. I mean, there were some funny parts, like they're portraying the dinosaurs as like these intelligent militaristic A-team kind of thing. And there's two cavemen that are in the show. Oh yeah, that's right. I think they're trying to defeat the cavemen. But the cavemen, it's like Bill and his other, you know, short one, tall one. And they're always trying to like invent something, and like it never works, or like one of them always gets hurt. I mean, it was a little funny, but it wasn't that good.
Oh, this is vaguely familiar to me.
You
but,
look. Oh, one thing I remember is like Eek had a girlfriend, Annabelle, I think, and the joke was that she was fat, just really fat.
Yeah. Man, one of these Thunder Lizards is like so punk rock. It's like it's got like a Misfits shirt.
Actually, you know, now that we're pulling up pictures and stuff, I'm not used to doing this, but it's kind of fun. Thunder Lizards. Try to find a good picture.
Was that you I was talking to about the Dinosaurs live action TV show that was like...
I mean, it probably was. Yeah. I mean, I really liked that. Although a lot of the episodes were preachy as hell.
I don't remember enough about it. That went like real hard at the end though, which is a surprisingly downer ending.
Dee Dee Richgirl says, I remember strawberry shortcake smelled like strawberries, and her friend smelled like whatever fruit they were. Like, yeah, that was like one of the markets, like how they marketed it. Like the strawberry shortcake toys smelled like fruit.
Vico says Ren and Stimpy, but I feel like Ren and Stimpy was like the first incredibly subversive.
It was very. I mean, it has a place in history.
Yeah. You're right. It's probably really stupid and vapid, but like.
It depends on what episode you're watching. Like, the ones without John K involved are actually the best ones. Like.
It was very. I loved it as a kid because it was so.
It was yeah.
Gross, and it was like.
Like, it didn't pull any punches.
Yeah, that was like baby's first, like...
Baby's first adult cartoon.
Yeah, you know, like, I'm not supposed to be watching this kind of a thing.
So, back when I would, you know, I couldn't watch it because my dad wouldn't allow me to. So, I'd have to wait for him to leave the house to watch Ren and Stimpy. Because he'd always say, can't you find anything better to watch? And
Like,
which is a loaded question, because if the answer is yes, I don't get to watch Ren and Stimpy, and if the answer is no, I have to go outside and I don't get to watch TV at all.
My parents were weirdly permissive when it came to what I was allowed to watch, because I remember like the only other person that the last Seahorse, one of my favorite DJs on Twitch, has a you can't do that on television, slime pouring on their head redeem. And like you can't do that on television was like also an early like subversive kids thing, and a number of kids that I grew up with weren't allowed to watch that, and I was not like, I wonder why I'm allowed to watch this. And it was the same thing with Ren and Stimpy. Like, my parents let me get away with this. What's weird is I liked Rocco's Modern Life less and less as I grew up, and it's like I kind of like grew into more of a snobby kid as I got older, because then it stopped being fun and it started being gross and weird.
Now, see, I adored Rocco's Modern Life. Like, Rocco's Modern Life felt like Ren and Stimpy, but a little more grounded and a little more substantial.
100%.
Yeah. No, the characters in that show were really fun. Like, when the show first started, Filbert, the turtle character, he started out as kind of this, like, joke Woody Allen kind of character, this real neurotic turtle.
Yeah.
But then as the show went on, he like got to do more stuff with Heifer and Rocco, and he became this character that was like kind of still a little neurotic, kind of mild-mannered, but like he was like a powder keg, and he would argue with Heifer, like viciously argue with Heifer, and like get really pissed, and that was the guy who does the voice for Plankton. That was him doing his Plankton voice, you know.
Yeah,
getting real rough, you know. Okay, so I think I know what the most vapid cartoon from back then that I can name. And I want to say it was the Smurfs.
Yeah. I can't think of I can't really defend the Smurfs outside of like, you know, it's... Did they start out as a comic strip?
I mean, probably. I mean, it seems like a foreign thing. Like, it seems like something that would come from, like, an Asterix and Obelix area. But, like, there was just...
Okay. I always want to, like, grandfather it in as, like, it's okay because it started out as a comic.
Well,
Like,
yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
No, but I guess, like, I associate comic strips with just being really silly and kind of empty, like I can't explain it. You're right, though. I can't think of anything to really to defend it.
Well, I mean, are you saying like comic books are kind of like cheap throwaway
No,
things?
sorry, like comic strips, like newspaper.
Oh, newspaper comic strips.
Yeah, sorry, not comic books are an incredible medium. I associate comic strips that you get at the end of the newspaper with being kind of like mostly
because they're only like
kind
3
of
panel,
joke.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you'll get stuff like Doonesbury that had some commentary.
Right.
And,
Kathy.
Yeah, and Calvin and Hobbes. And,
yeah, Calvin and Hobbes was amazing.
But I like for like 1960s comic strips, I kind of like give a pass because like I just assume they're gonna be dumb.
Well, I mean, there are some shows that came from comic strips that are like some of my favorites. Like
I loved Garfield and Friends.
I was about to say Garfield and Friends, but
I also
yeah,
love Garfield the comic, but and that's kind of like just an empty, silly humor. But boy, I thought Garfield and Friends had some real funny.
Garfield and Friends seems like one of those shows where the people who made it had ideas and like they were genuinely funny and could write good scripts, but they couldn't get green light for something unless they had a popular character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of
I
that
feel
that
like
old story of like how Ralph Bakshi wanted to make a cartoon and nobody would pick his cartoons up unless it was like an IP that existed. And he was
yeah.
like, I have the IP for Mighty Mouse. And he didn't. He just made up that he had that IP. And then he left the meeting and was like, who the fuck owns Mighty Mouse? We've got to buy Mighty Mouse.
Oh man, poor Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah.
I feel like Garfield and Friends was on par with The Simpsons. I have no evidence for this. I can't remember any of the jokes, but to me, it hit a lot of that same, not biting sense of humor, but like
It was very
clever.
snarky.
Yeah.
Like, it was very snarky and
clever.
self-referential.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Music was the voice of Garfield, and he
Yes.
will always be the voice of Garfield.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He could not be replaced. He was
Mhm.
iconic.
But-
Every once in a while he'd do like commercials and stuff, and I'd be like, "That's him."
yeah. But, like, the show had some interesting characters. Like, Binky the Clown was interesting. I liked U.S. Acres. That was like
U.S. Acres was
that was
really
his
good.
friends. Because, I mean, as much as I love Garfield, there's only so much mileage you can get out of the things Garfield does. Although they did go, like... It was like a wacky cartoon show, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was one episode where, like, he spilled lasagna on... Like, they installed a satellite dish and he spilled lasagna on it. And because the manufacturer's label specifically warns that you're not supposed to get lasagna on the satellite dish, he gets zapped into the TV and he's going through all the TV shows.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
I remember, for some reason, something that's always stuck with me is there was like a running gag within the farm segment that had to do with aliens and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and they kept expanding on like, well, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind is this, and I don't remember why, but they kept getting more and more absurd, and it just was really something about the dry absurdity with the delivery and stuff. Like you said, it's snarky and dry.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
do you remember the running joke of the Klopman Diamond?
Oh, vaguely.
So, the Klopman Diamond was... It had one episode where it was featured, and I think it's based on an old joke where, like, whoever inherits the diamond, like, is cursed with bad luck.
Yeah.
And it's, like, in the show, like, Garfield gets the Klopman Diamond, and then a bunch of bad stuff happens to him. But, like, the Klopman Diamond shows up in a whole bunch of other episodes. Like, if somebody's, like, listing off things, or if there's something valuable, it's always the Klopman Diamond.
Yeah.
Hang on, I want to see if this was based on a joke. I'm pretty sure it was. Klopman Diamond.
Thinking in the brain was good times.
The Klopman Diamond is a legendary diamond said to have a curse on it. It is best known for being a running gag in Garfield and Friends, first referenced to by a cellmate in the U.S. Acres episode Wanted Wade. It's also... Oh my god. It is also featured in the Garfield Kart video game as a stinky time bomb.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad that is a thing.
Okay. The Klopman Diamond is based off the Hope Diamond due to being passed down for generations and are believed to carry curses with them.
Yes.
The origin of Klopman Diamond is an old joke usually associated with either Myron Cohen or Johnny Carson. Mark Evanier loved this joke so much that he put a reference in the scripts. According to him, at the recording session, all the actors instantly recognized the joke.
Oh.
I see.
I never knew. I was just a little bit too young for Johnny Carson and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
always just
I was too young for Johnny Carson.
Yeah, I just figured it was a reference to the other legendary, like the Hope Diamond and other famous supposedly haunted items. Or cursed, rather.
Yeah. Oof. We've talked a lot about old media, haven't we?
Eh.
It's just
Well, we're both old. We don't always. I feel like we gotta.
we don't have these conversations very often, do we?
Yeah.
But it kind of
Like
makes me think about preservation, you know?
oh my gosh, yeah.
How a lot of things are just lost media now.
Yes. And I please, I hope that they continue making and selling physical media because, like, I do not, we have seen, cannot trust companies to leave this stuff up for everyone to access. Whether
No,
it's
never.
video games or music or movies or TV, like, no matter how permanent you think it might be, like, you never know when someone is going to decide, no, you know what, it's time for that.
Yeah, well, right now we're in kind of a bubble where everyone and their grandma has their own streaming service. And
Yes,
if there's like a few things that you want to watch on one streaming service, you have to buy it. And it could go away and then go to some other
Basically
streaming
cable.
service. Yeah. It's
Cable.
cable all over again.
Like, I thought that I had the foolish idea that, you know, as the PlayStation Network continued to go from console to console, starting with PS3, like, why would they get rid of the PS1 games? Like, you know, they're $5.99. People probably buy them fairly often, and people want to have access to them. Why would they get rid of that? And that fucking Sony executive said, why would people want to play old games? And they just a huge chunk of their catalog.
What I really don't like is everyone that runs a streaming service like HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu, they want to say that they have their own original content. So they pick up shows, and these people make the shows specifically for that streaming platform. And then they cancel them, regardless of how well they do. Like, you know that some of these people are doing this shit for tax write-offs.
Exactly.
Like the Cuphead show. You know, that was kind of a landmark thing, because it was a video game. And then it became a TV show. And it was, I think it was 2 seasons?
Did it get a second season? I can't remember.
I mean, well, they did get a second season, but it was some sort of weird thing about how they chop up the seasons. Basically, I think there were like very few episodes in each season, and that's how they did it.
Okay.
But they kind of rearrange it to where the company doesn't have to pay, like they arrange bonuses for the shows.
Yep.
But then they don't let them reach them.
Yep.
And then they just like cancel them.
I found out about that when oh crap, I can't remember what it's called. It was a Netflix show called, like, it was based on a podcast. It was called like Session 88 or Session 82 or something. And it was a superbly done show. They set it up for a second season, or they set it up for a third season, one of the two. And even though it was successful and it was popular, they shit-canned it because so that they could get the tax write-off for it.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
how I first found out about that phenomenon. But I was like, how the hell did this get canceled?
I
When
mean,
Netflix went out of their way to set up all this stuff for there to be.
they're all like that. Like,
Yeah.
I watched the Animaniacs return on Hulu, and
Oh, I
that
did
was
too.
that was perfectly done.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And they fucking canceled it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I'd like for it to not be like that.
I was worried that maybe it wasn't successful, and I never looked into, like, viewership and stuff for it.
Like the Pinky and the Brain show too. Like, that was really popular too.
I forgot that there was a Pinky and the Brain show.
Yeah, people loved it. That's why, like, anytime a new show says it's coming out on like Netflix or HBO,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to get into it because it's just gonna get canceled.
Yeah, you can't trust them. No
I
matter
mean,
how successful.
this model is not sustainable. Something's got to break.
Well, good. Thankfully, it is right now with the strike, and I hope that maybe makes a difference somewhere somehow. Right before we started streaming, I realized, like, oh, I had to cancel my subscription to AMC because Interview with the Vampire ended, and I can't afford to pay for a zillion freaking streaming services. Interview
Uh-huh.
with the Vampire ended and Yellow Jackets ended. So I supported those shows as best as I could by paying to watch them, but I gotta cancel it. And then I was like, man, I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen to these shows. And I was just ordering Interview with the Vampire on Blu-ray. Like, I don't know when I'm going to watch it again. I want to have it just in case because I can't.
Yeah, like if you have something that's like special to you and you want to like go back and watch it at some point, you've got to get physical.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get physical.
Physical.
But
The 80s.
you cannot trust corporations to keep it.
What was somebody just released a game and they sold an empty fucking box for it.
I think that's a lot of different people right now, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I remember some time back somebody doing that and people fussing about it.
I thought that was like a recent thing that somebody just did it for the first time and everybody was like, what the
No, they're doing it again.
Ugh.
Like, I can't stand that whole thing that they do. They take and take and take until they can't take anymore, and then they just push back a little bit. And
we keep accepting it basically
Yeah.
because we don't have a choice. We don't have a lot of say in it.
nah. It kind of sucks when you can't help that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And like I used to share, like, remember when Netflix used to encourage password sharing, and like all that matters now is pleasing the investors. So they're like, oh well, the bottom line on the investors and they need to buy another yacht, so we're going to continue raising the price even though it's $1 billion company that is wildly successful, and also crack down on password sharing.
Yeah, so I heard, I have not looked this up myself, but I heard that springs from, I believe, an Alabama law that was passed specifically for that state that made password sharing illegal. It counted as theft of services.
Oh, you've got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
Not doubting you, just like,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Alabama that did it, and then Netflix was like, oh, that's a good idea, actually. Let's do that. I didn't think we could get away with that, but if Alabama's doing it, then...
That's Netflix password shit. I wonder.
Are you looking this up on your Magic Platypus tablet?
That's correct.
Yeah.
My little supercomputer. I'm very curious as to... I thought that was all just corporate... well, I mean, it's still a corporate greed thing, but, like... Oh my gosh.
Is it true?
I can't find it. It might be another state.
Yeah. It might be a different state.
Yeah.
Or it could just be something that was made up and I just repeated it without looking into it at all. Or verifying anything.
Why
But
would somebody tell lies on the internet?
Well, it's not a lie if I'm just being ignorant.
I'm joking.
Hoi, oi, oi. So, we've been going for about an hour and a half. That's usually my kind of cap on these interviews.
Okay.
But before we go, I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about media, which was fun. But, we didn't really talk about ourselves, our tubers, our online avatars, all that much.
Hey, we did a little bit.
We did a little bit. Is there anything else that you want people to know about you, Ralphie? Any stories, anecdotes, cute things that you want to tell them?
Let's see. The reason that I'm able to do this is because of my zoologist, and they have been in with an Emerus Estillo is my senpai, but like Doc.
Who is Doc? I see you mentioned Doc.
Yeah, Doc is the zoologist that I live with the most. They are my primary caretaker at the zoo, and they were the one whose phone I first started stealing because they had games on their phone. They have encouraged me the most and like done the most to facilitate by putting all this time and effort and money into this. And I'm really thankful for that. And that's the person that I always mention is my zoologist, and they oh gosh, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like that's part of my deep Ralphie Platypus lore.
You don't have to go anywhere with it. I just wanted to know who Doc was.
Yeah.
Because you keep bringing up Doc.
Yep. So I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I have to have a human to get me footstools high enough to reach.
Yeah.
And...
I'm a little more self-sufficient than that, but that's fine. Well, yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
I can't anything else.
Do you have anything else to ask me? Now's the perfect time.
Now is the perfect time. Do you have? First of all, is there a specific flower that your head flowers are inspired by, or like a reference to?
It makes me think of carnations. Like, let me... I think that's the right word. Let me make sure it is. Yeah. Let me put up a picture of this. Save as carnations. I freaking hate WebPiv.
Speaking of corporate greed, in my opinion,
I want to find who made that. Who made that a thing? Okay, so that's a PNG file. Bring it over here. There we go.
Yeah.
It makes me think of carnations, and it may also be influenced by roses, which pretty sure most people know what roses look like, but I will just post a rose because roses are pretty.
Yeah.
They're very pretty.
Shout out to Audible Rose, my other flower-related friend. Audible Rose is a cat.
You've surrounded yourself with flowers, haven't you?
I have, haven't I?
There we go, and here's a nice rose just for you.
There you go. There's so many different varieties of roses, and I love how people crossbreed them and create new types and stuff.
I mean, plant life in general, I mean this like really seriously, it's fascinating.
It is.
It's so diverse. It is so incredibly diverse. You know, all kind of different shapes, colors, smells. Like I was reading about different plant life because what I wanted to do kind of at the start, and probably still do, is tell people, you know, facts that they might not know about plant life and share interesting things. So
I've been meaning to add that as a redeem for a long time as a platypus fact.
Yeah. But there's this one plant that has berries that they're very shiny. They're incredibly shiny. And it's got nothing to do with like the color or the pigment of it. It's actually like their molecular structure is built in such a way that it refracts light in that way and doesn't lose its sheen.
That's
like
I've never heard of that. That's so cool.
If you were to dry those berries and like keep them for hundreds of years, they would still be that shiny.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember what it is? I have to see this.
I did post it on Twitter. Let me see if I can search it. Let's see. I know I can find it. Because I do kind of want to share that.
Yeah.
It was from a while back. Mostly I just post doodles and stuff.
I love your doodles though.
Yeah.
I treasure the one that you did of me carrying the plant from
The prickly pears.
Atomic Crops. Yeah, the prickly pears.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back. Do something entertaining while I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, I should have thought of that. I'm just vibing to the music and stuff. Let's we can do a platypus fact.
Yeah.
There's always the comparison between platypus tails and beaver tails because they're the same shape. But platypus tails don't actually have that sort of little ridge texture that beaver tails do. Which is a misconception I had for a while as out of character. They are just like they're just flat and furry, and that's why my tail has that weird sort of like gradation at the end. Because some platypuses in real life basically have that sort of coloration, where they get a little bit darker towards the end. We lay eggs, but we excrete milk to feed them.
Yeah, that's another weird thing.
Enough. Yeah.
Actually, I might just have better luck Googling it. Shiny berry.
Shiny berry.
Here we go. A berry so shiny that it's irresistible and inedible.
One of my favorite flowers is not actually a flower, it's the bougainvillea from California and Mexico, and they have brilliantly colored leaves. Their flowers are actually really, really tiny, but it looks like they are just covered in flowers because their leaves are so brightly colored. They come in purple, in red, in kind of a fuchsia, in peach, and you see them all over in warmer, more southerly climates, but especially California and New Mexico and
okay, I've got it.
California.
So, here is the incredibly shiny berry.
Oh my gosh, they don't even look real.
That's what the article says. They look fake.
They look like they're like cultured pearls or something.
This is the amazing berry of the Pollia condensata plant. A physicist in Great Britain was looking at the reflectivity of tulips and buttercups when a colleague at Cambridge University told him to check out this weird blueberry from a tropical plant. It's not very big, but it's very luminous and bright.
It's beautiful. I really love those colors.
Yes, this... Okay. The morpho butterfly and the scarab beetle are the only living things that come close to the Pollia berry in terms of color. And, as with the beetle, the berry's skin has no pigment, no colored cells.
What?
Rather, all cells are coiled in a particular twist. The cells form sheets like the skin of an onion. Light filters down through those layers in a way that creates something called structural color. So this berry is the way that it is because of its cellular structure. It has no pigment.
I had no idea.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. And I didn't know that the scarab beetles didn't have pigment either, because they're such a, you know, we associate them with like that green and gold.
Uh-huh.
And they're not actually green.
Yeah. It's all about how light filters down through them.
That's incredible.
Oh, but it says there are just a few cells in the berry skin that do reflect other colors, and that gives the fruit what Steiner calls a pixelated glow.
I don't quite understand that because I associate pixels with...
I guess that it means that kind of granulated appearance to it.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
There was a comedian, and I don't remember who it was, that had a joke about, like, there's nothing blue in nature. Like, there's nothing naturally occurring that's like a particular shade of blue. Or maybe it's like that there's no, like, food or flower that's like a naturally, and that's blue. That's as blue as it gets, really.
I think I've heard that joke before, where it's like, name one blue food.
Everything is actually purple, but like, no, that's blue. But it doesn't have any pigment, which is wild. Yay! We're changing colors.
Feeling a little blue.
We're naturally occurring in nature and also blue.
Yeah, it must be this environment having an effect on you. Well, I think that's a really good way to end things. With we're learning a few things, right?
Yeah.
Because I encourage you to look up that stuff on your own. The world of nature is fascinating.
It is, and there's just an endless amount of things to learn about it.
And when you think about it, there are some places that we still haven't fully explored and discovered. There are, uncategorized insects and plant life and animals and some human cultures that are completely isolated.
Yep.
So it's really fascinating.
In this day and age, it kind of feels like we've learned and found everything there is to learn and find, but there's still mysteries out there that we haven't solved and haven't discovered.
And I encourage you out there to go find, investigate your own mysteries. Is there something you're curious about?
Find something new that you've never heard before.
And I think that's a good place to end it.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate you having me. I'm honored that that you considered it worth just chatting to me and my rambling.
It's okay. Plants love being talked to.
I hope we can pick up Atomicrops next week or something again. Get back on the wagon. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm still playing it. I have a session alt-tabbed right now because I couldn't finish it before our interview time.
Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for having me, and it's been a good time. I appreciate it.
It's a joy to have you. Would you like to do the sign-off with me?
Yes.
Do you remember it?
No.
Okay. let me whisper it into your ear, okay?
Oh, do I have to?
Yes, you have to.
You asked me and I said yes, and now I'm like, no, I don't want to.
I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Okay. On the count of three, okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We're so glad to see you, Turnip. Was that so bad? Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Take care.